Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum, and this is a tourney game from the mini tournament Americas. It happens every Wednesday, and in this game I'll be up against Doggo Scientist. He is a 2000 plus MMR player, extremely talented, knows what he's doing. So I started with Marksman Specialist. Um, I got lucky because this is the exact same starting point that I've had in the previous game. I explained why this is a bit tricky to defend, right? So you worry about your chaff clear, but if you get enough chaff clear, then you're going to be worrying about these air units. My opponent picked probably the only composition that can defend against this is arc lights with phoenixes, and he is a supply specialist. So all he really needs to do is to drop a few sets of chaff, so he chose crawlers, and now we're in an even game. He has one more arc light than I do, so he has the option to go maybe into carry arc light if he chooses to. I do have the orange man, which I can use or sell later on. So for round one, it seems to be pretty even. So we're going to speed this up. So round one pretty even. I got a little lucky with the Phoenix being stuck on the arc lights, so I was able to take down his Phoenix. But not a big deal. Just small chipping damage in his health. Cards. I think Mobile Beacon might be interesting. Elite Stonecaller might be interesting, but right now there's no really any use for any of those on my board, so I decided to skip. For my opponent, they skip as well. I took Jump Drive, the poor man's missile. So 50 resources, get your Phoenixes back in the corner, and able to do some damage. I kept this set of Phoenix on this on where they are because I knew there was an extra arc light that I need to take care of, and I moved the other Phoenix over as well. I added more fangs so that when Phoenixes try to come in, they don't auto target my arc light right away. With a bit of extra money, I put a cheeky missile on the side, expecting some sort of funny business. On this side, I didn't need to, so he could either go crawlers or he can go phoenixes. I put crawlers here to defend against that, and if he does go phoenixes, my phoenix will go in and engage before they have the time to warp in, which is why I put the missile on the other side, because the other one is defended. I did put another missile right here at the no, he put another missile right here at the front. I think what he was trying to do is to catch maybe the arc light, so that he will have overwhelming chaff here on the side. But unfortunately for him, I did put some fangs down, so didn't get to get my chaff. I wonder if this Phoenix is gonna lock on me. Nope, still hitting the crawlers, so the crawlers are arriving just in time. My Phoenix arrived, gonna get tower, and once we get tower, excuse me, then these Phoenixes are just gonna come down and mob up against. Okay, so he got range on the arc lights. It is an indicator that he may go carry arc light, even though it's not confirmed, because you really want to see the second tech before committing to a response. But so far it's looking like he did get extra arc lights. He took the range tech, which is usually the first tech you get on the arc light if you're going for carry arc light. Alright, let's look at the cards. Senior Manufacturing is interesting. Once you get it, you are in a slightly better position if you do want to defend against carry arc lights in the future. Supply Specialist is also interesting because we're only at turn 3, so you'll definitely make your money back. My opponent decided to skip. I took Senior Manufacturing. I put my Phoenix back after he's done his job, got his level. And my opponent put down 2 sets of Mustangs in response to the flank problem. The Mustangs being unranged or untech with range will also serve as later chaff, because right now my only chaff clear are these 2 arc lights, so I don't have a lot of chaff clear. I try to be cheeky. I move my Phoenix forward. I'm hoping to catch two of the arc lights right out the bat. But it doesn't look like it. It feels, yeah. So no, actually, these ones might still log on. Yeah, they log on. Okay, they did get the arc lights, but at what cost, right? So we traded essentially Phoenixes for arc lights. Not the best trade, which means right now this orange marksman is gonna have to clear out everything. He's trying his best, for sure, but I don't think it's enough. But he's definitely trying his best. Alright, unit drop. Let's talk about this. On my side of the board, the first thing I need some chaff clear. The Wraith are interesting to go right here. Typhoon is interesting as well. For my opponent's boards, he needs a bit more tank. Right now it's just all squishy chaff units. So once I have my chaff clear, I will be able to get them, get the rest of his units. Right now the boards are actually pretty even in strength because once the chaffs are gone, we're equally as vulnerable. For my opponent, I think he would have gone either with steel balls or with rhino, right? One of these two. And let's see. All right, my opponent took steel balls. Very good choice because not only these guys are extremely tanky, but they come in a set of 4s, which means if in order for my units to shoot at them, I may actually do more damage or do overkill. If you chose the Rhino, then most of the shots from the Phoenixes will do full damage, with the exception of the last two. So for me, what I wanted is to strengthen my front line. I got the Rhino, and I sold the Rhino. I'm going to use one of them to rush his tower. I used the additional money to get 2 sets of fortresses. In this situation, getting fortresses may not be the most correct response because steel balls were offered. In the long run, it will still work out, but in the short run, I think the steel balls are just going to overwhelm the fortress if you don't even have, additional chaff clear, which I don't. Put down the missile just to clear out the way for the Rhino. Mobile beacon and move the Phoenixes over. Unfortunately, the boss got a lock on the Rhino. And also the boss on the other side got locked on the fortress. And this is when I realized I was in a bit of a trouble because I never really fixed my chaff clear problem that I was mentioning. And now I have introduced a new problem, which is providing enough cover for my larger units so that they don't get shut down right away by these level 2 walls. It's a bit annoying. Alright, so that takes us to round 5. Portable shield was offered and it was chosen, and I took the missiles. With the missiles is one of these 2 units. These ones were already upgraded, so I expect them to maybe put down a shield or move them out of the way. These ones, at least this set of Mustang, weren't upgraded. I wasn't expecting to put on a shield here, so now the missile does no damage to the steel balls. I've decided to first solve the chaff problem, so I added a bit more chaff. And with that, so here's add a bit more chaff. I took shields on the fangs so they can survive a bit longer and just be a bit more of a nuisance. And with the extra money left over, I took another fortress. Still not solving the chaff clear problem. I think the thought process that I had when I was playing this game was that with the fortress, I eventually wanted to go with overload. And with overload, so right now it shoots every 1.8 seconds. With overload, it shoots half the time. And I'm hoping with enough fortresses, they will just kind of serve as its own chapter. And also with overload, I finally have an answer to these steel balls, or somewhat of an answer to these steel balls. Still no answer here because there's just a lot of chaff for me to clear. And once the chaff clears, well, still even more chaff. So unfortunately, this steel ball didn't get to fire at the fortress didn't get a fire at the steel balls. On the left hand side, things are working out a little better, but these level 2 phoenixes are doing a number on my fortresses. And with the debuff, the phoenix is going to take both of my fortresses. Okay, so I realized my chaff clear is a huge problem, and in order to fix that problem, I needed something else. None of the units are particularly interesting, maybe with the exception of Strike Specialist, but he already has units, both the combination of Quallers and Mustangs. So unless you're really committing to the side, it's difficult to do so because he's got chaff clear, and then the steel balls can count as single unit damage. So it's very difficult to get into the flank right now. I got a distraction rhino so that I can pull some units away just a little faster. I bought another fortress and then 2 more arc lights just to help with the chaff clear. Alright, with the extra money left over, I've decided to go with launcher overload. On my opponent's side, he continued to build this Mustang ball composition, and these are very strong because all it takes is one of these steel balls to lock into my fortress and the fortress is dead. So very strong composition. Right now we're kind of in a race to scale. I think eventually the fortress will win, especially with sufficient number of fortresses with overload and with range. But until then, the Mustang ball will have an advantage. And it becomes even worse if these balls start to get levels, which means the fortress can no longer two-shot them. And it just becomes really scary. He added in shields, excellent choice, preventing my fortress from doing even more damage. This side is already locked on because I didn't have any fans on this side, so the fortress on this side is already fallen. Same thing on the right hand side, the middle fortress is already fallen. The edge fortress is still stuck on clearing out chaff. I'm actually very surprised that this rhino popped out. Okay, it is doing damage, but these balls are shielded, so it's not able to kill all of them, but it did get to them. No more balls on this side, but the Phoenix is doing damage. My arc lights are doing quite well with the Mustangs here, but of course without any sort of support there was a free fall. Alright, so this is a very interesting set of units because there are a lot of good units that I can use. Fire Badgers, excellent units. I have a chaff clear problem. Fire Badgers fix that problem, no problem. Vulcan, kind of in the same role, but these days I prefer Fire Badgers over Vulcan. The Wraith is also an excellent choice because he has 3 sets of Mustangs already, and they're doing a great job at clearing out chaff. And with Wraith, with armor, you can draw a lot of firepower from these Mustangs before they grow too big. So for this round, I decided just to pick up the Fire Badgers to solve the most immediate problem that I had, which is just chaff clear. I added oil on this side, so with Fire Badger, pretty good combination. All right, my opponent picked Vulcan. I moved my Fire Badgers to the corner to draw off some of these chaff clear from the Mustangs. These are level 2 Fire Badgers, so I think they will survive the first round. Okay, so now looking at the board, previously these marksmen just weren't doing enough damage because the crawlers kept running at it. With these Fire Badgers, I think it's going to fix that problem just a little bit. My opponent added even more balls, so he's now running with 6 sets of steel balls. Very, very scary. For me, I got range on my fortresses, so now my fortresses are actually doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, these balls also have range, and they did get a lock on, and with so many balls still left, it becomes really difficult to clear them out. So this was a big round for my opponent, but things are looking up for me because now I'm at a place where I need to be with these fortresses. I notice I still have chaff problem. I think putting the Fire Badgers on the corner may not be the greatest of ideas, but let's see. They start to pay off in the next round. And because I did pick Fire Badgers, so I have the option to just buy a few more of those, put it on the front lines, and dealing with those crawlers. Once those crawlers are gone, these fortresses with launcher overload can bring down balls, even level 3 balls, very quickly. Now the question is, will I have enough HP to survive the onslaught? Because he will just continue to add on balls, and that's going to be a problem. Incendiary was offered, very good card. I wanted to go with Incendiary as well, but I was thinking of which way would I go. You'll probably ask Shield, and I was going to go for the Napalm anyways. So Napalm and range essentially kills any number of crawlers at an arc in front of the arc light. So it doesn't matter how many crawlers they throw at you, Napalm and range will guarantee you the kill, essentially. My opponent picked Oil as well as the Incendiary. I added some shields, but I don't think this is enough. The 2 will still continue to drop. What I'm hoping for now is these Fire Badgers with range, will just kind of get rid of all the chaff so that my remaining, my fortresses can start popping the steel balls. These ones down here are also going to do a bit more work. Sure, they're going to get locked on by these steel balls, but once they get locked on, we will create napalm, and hopefully we'll have napalm for these Mustangs to run into. Alright, more missiles on the side, expecting chaff in front of the Fire Badgers, but no chaff. And as you can see, napalm is not bad, right? So we have units running in, units running out. On this side, I actually killed quite a bit, few Mustangs, so these are doing good. My fortresses, unfortunately, are still being locked on just a little too quickly, but they are doing a little better. So on this side, yeah, they did break through. On this side, they're almost breaking through, but I think this fortress is going to get these steel balls. And it does, which means now the fortress is there to do some more damage. It's still a losing round for me, but things are definitely getting better. Not to mention he used 2 active skills in this round with 2 extra missiles on the back, so there's a lot of money wasted just to barely win this round. But he did win, and he did put my health down to 642, which is a scary place to be. Alright, so now we'll come here for the unit cards. Wasp for my opponent and Wraith for me. So the Wraith, the Wraith were offered at an earlier round, and I took the Fire Badger instead of the Wraith because I had that immediate problem. Right now I took the Wraith because I wanted to make sure that whatever. So right now the highest damage Mustangs is these guys. But even then, once I put armor on them, right, these Mustangs are going to take quite some time to deal with my Wraith. The Phoenixes are most likely going to be dealing with chaff on the ground, so if I can keep Mustang from getting to my Wraith, I should be in a pretty good position. Alright, let's see how this plays out. For my opponent, he's putting on a massive flank on the side with those level 3 Wasps. I think this is going to work for him, but at the same time, I might have a chance because now my fortresses are being leveled, and I'm going to add even more fortresses and even more chaff just to get that area covered. Okay, shields on the Wraith. Excellent. Even harder to kill. Okay, took some levels, added more chaff. I got rid of one side of the Fire Badgers. I kept this one. I think I'll eventually get rid of that too. I think I no longer need to hold back the units that are coming in my way. I think my fortresses are just, they're doing a lot of damage. The napalm is effectively stopping any sort of smaller units from getting even closer, right? So you see this level 2 qualler just melts over there. And it's happening on both sides as well. This side I'm missing a fortress, and he also has armor on his steel balls, but even then, as you can see, our fortresses are doing work. Sure, they got the debuff, but at the same time, they're still not getting rid of my fortresses. Now the real problem is I don't have anything that shoots up. So actually I do. I have 2 units that shoots up. So I'm hoping my fortress will tank for all the damage while my units will clear out the rest of his units. Okay, so the Wraith goes in, Wraith clears out the Wasp, and now it's just putting out the rest of his Phoenixes. So this is a huge turning point for me. I think we're at a point where my line becomes extremely resilient because of just the sheer amount of damage. Extended range fortress card came up. This is a perfect card for this composition that allows my fortress to shoot even further, about 20 meters further. This flank, now that I know it exists here, I checked the unit, didn't have jump drive, so my opponent can either sell this unit or he can continue to try on this flank. I'm not about to let him try on this flank, so I added extra Wraith with Degen Beam, which should be sufficient in getting rid of his units. He chose Nuke. Excellent choice. Because for my opponent, all he needs is to win 1 round, and it doesn't even need to be a huge round, just 1 small round, and he'll be able to take care of my units. Nuke, while good, they do not kill a level 2 fortress outright. They only deal with 70,000 damage, and level 2 fortress at 82,000. Okay. Continue to level. Range, temp speed. My opponent added Suck on the steel balls, as well as damage sharing. I don't have anything like a melting point, so damage sharing allows all 4 steel balls to survive quite a bit longer. Most of my fortresses are level 2, which means even with damage sharing, right? So this is 160, so times 4, so 41 times 4, 160. I think they can, do a decent amount of damage. Degen Beam is going to work on these steel balls, causing them to take 30% more damage. So as long as the Degen Beam is in effect while these fortresses are shooting them 1 shot per second, I think I still have a pretty good chance of getting rid of these balls. Alright, so let's see them in slow motion. The nuke drops. These set of level 2 balls is just 1 shot away from dying. These set of balls, yeah, so that's 1 ball gone. I think he might have killed some of his balls, I'm not sure. Can't see them through the mushroom cloud. These set of balls are still shooting at the chaff, so these chaff are my saving grace. Alright, so here is just the raw damage coming out of these 3 fortresses and also the phoenixes. Degen Beam is in effect, and these balls cannot get in range to do the damage on these things. Okay. Still have plenty of air units. Still have 3 fortresses, which will have enough damage, will cause enough damage to my opponent's health. I think this is a very close game. I think I won by a hair. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.